Great. Okay, so thanks again. And as I mentioned, right, I mean, it will be more interactive, and I would request everyone to like just put your questions or queries in the chat, but definitely will answer all of your queries, okay, for all the participants. And I'd be happy to make it very interactive session. Okay, so first of all, like when we say bridging, right, the gap, right, or what is that, right? I mean, let us think about when we talk about Gen AI, and especially this conversational AI and the latest, say, deep learning based algorithm, transformers, and all, right? That is something on the research what the academic organizations are focusing on, right? Including all the major organizations in multiple nations, and everyone is focusing on deep research. And then another part is there is um, the industry part, right? Where mostly people are focusing on different types of products, platforms, services, and again there are a lot of organizations worldwide, right? And starting with who are developing operating system, or who are providing some GPUs, who are providing some CPUs, but everyone is focusing right now in AI R&D, right? And why that's happening? Because we are actually moving towards that era, correct? The way we started with, say, mechanical devices, and then we moved from mechanical to electrical, then electrical to electronics, but that is analog electronics. Then we moved to digital electronics, like from cassette player. I think some of you have seen the tape recorder, but the next generation might not have seen actually that kind of a device where we used to play music in musical cassettes. Now that cassette works with a magnetic tape, and then it has like all the analog kind of a electrical and electronics kind of combination. But once the CD comes, right, and the CD, the compact disc, it was having all digital. And from there, we have moved towards the digital era. Now, what happened in digital era, we found like, okay, the computer is helping, and we can write a set of instructions. And that set of instructions, if we run it once, and then it may actually generate multiple times and different kind of programs. But we usually write in particular programming language, say C, C++, Java, and all. But based on that instruction, we are getting certain like fixed kind of output, and it totally depends on the input. If I change the input, the output will change, but it is all depending on the logic what I have written. And that's the major thing in the digital era, when we used to call it like programming and different programming language and all. Earlier, it was not there. When it was only calculator, the programming language was not there. So what we have to do, we had to like click all the buttons, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus, minus, multiplication, division, multiple times. Whenever we had like, okay, we have to do this calculation. And before calculator, it was like all pen and paper, right? So from pen and paper to calculator, then we found computer. But computer, again, we have to write the logic. Now, what is AI? First of all, when we are saying like AI, it is not new, right? In mass research, we are working with artificial intelligence for long. Like I myself have experienced like last 20 years. I mean, 2023, 21 years actually. 2023, we started the journey of MAST, and where we actually focused on these emerging technologies, right? And when we say AI, it is actually one step even more, right? The logic what we used to write in the computer, when we used to say like, okay, this is programming based on certain set of input, and we are writing some instructions in any programming language, say C, C++, Java, .NET. So a lot of things were there at that time, like Pascal, even few other programming language like Prolog and all. So now with that, we used to write the logics, the set of logics. But in machine learning, what we are saying, like, okay, we'll not write the logic by us. Let us provide a set of input and a set of output. Now, the human brain, which was actually working, where the engineers, the software engineers, the programmers, they used to write those codes, are now can be generated, right? So our objective in AI, which is our focus area in mass research, right? The again, AI, we have like a lot of keywords, right? Data science is more, it's a superset where we are talking about, say, data, different domains. It can be healthcare and different. I will cover those domains as well. Then cognitive computing, like how human brain thinks, how we can simulate. AI is definitely putting all those logic together to make kind of a robust system. And then machine learning is a subset of AI where we are trying to train or teach a system, like we usually call it like training. But when from machines perspective, it is learning. From our perspective, it is teaching, right? So we are teaching the machines with a set of input, with a set of output. And then we are expecting like the in between that logic will be generated automatically. So that is the fundamental things of machine learning. Right? So we don't know the formula, but let us build the formula. Let us develop the formula automatically. Then advanced analytics, again, explainability, more towards like recommendations. So all these things are also important. It's not like I am predicting something and then it's over, right? We have to sometimes take care about, okay, we are presenting, but what else? What's next? So those things are again important. And what mass research is focusing for like benefit of mankind, where the domains are very close to the society, where we can solve the societal problems, right? And then we want to build the ecosystem. I think Anwar was already mentioning that, right? To enable between academy and enterprise, because we found that gap. There is a gap. Why? Because academic organizations, they get lot of liberty, they get lot of freedom to build lot of like solutions, research oriented small products or prototypes, but those are only academic research. The problem here is those never get converted into products. So the society, the nation, the world, we don't get that benefit, right? Probably who is doing some PhD program, going through the PhD or MTech or MS, they are getting a paper published or patent published and so on. But those are not being available in the market. So that's a problem. At the same time, when we talk to industry, right? I spent like more than 2 decades in the corporate world. And what I found here, in the corporate world, no one has that liberty, number one. No one has that bandwidth, the time also to do deep research, right? So in the corporate world, it's like, oh, yesterday is the delivery. Let's complete this task. Okay, okay. What happened? That particular task is not completed yet. And then finally, you found like even if you're a data scientist, but ending up your job as a data engineer, even data pre-processing, sometimes designing, whatnot, right? So not every time or every moment we are doing research in a corporate world. That's again another problem. Even the pure research organizations, if their objective is just to write paper, publish paper, it's not actually impacting the societal problems. It's not actually impacting or helping the mankind for the world. All right. So what we are focusing on, like all these cutting edge technologies, be it like nurturing with the neural networks, deep learning, text mining, and so on, right? And then to some extent, robotics and embedded systems and all. So that's our focus area, and that's the reason, and that's the actually theme of today's lecture also. So it's completely aligned. But Data Seekho actually reached out to me, and what we are actually doing for long. So let me know if you can hear this music. Again playing.
Actually, it's not audible.
Not audible.
Yes, it's not audible.
Wait. Mm, but my Zoom setting is saying it is available. I'm again checking. Isn't it? Still not?
No, it's still not there.
Okay, anyway, so I will share the link later. Okay, what I was actually trying to play a music which is generated using AI. Okay, so now everyone is talking about Gen AI. Right? Now it is again not new. First of all, the concept of AI that came in 1956, and the first problem what they used to solve is again something to generate through computer. But are we generating right things? Are we using or leveraging these technologies, right? I mean, the Gen AI technology for right cause. So, for an example, the picture here, right? Now, using Gen AI, someone can create this kind of image. But what is this? I mean, probably it can use or help in some marketing or some like some kind of a poster which is for a school student or something. But if we think about like, can we generate some image automatically for say cancerous cells, right? Then it will be a difficult, challenging problem. It's not that easy, right? Because it has to be trained with lot of and typical what type of cancer. If you are thinking about say blood cancer, and then if it is chronic lymphocytic leukemia, then the image or the microscopic image of that blood cells would be very difficult to understand first, then to generate such synthetic data. So that is important here, right? What we need and what we are doing. Are we wasting time with that, or are we actually focusing on something which would be helpful? So now, I mean, this is something like this lady, this particular small snippet, right? It's completely AI generated. Now you can easily find like it is AI generated. It looks like it's repeating, but the image below, the terrain here, right? It is also AI generated. But now it is very difficult to understand. Why? Because the terrain, the rough texture of the terrain is fine. I mean, okay, it looks like pretty like real. The same way the text which is generated here, right? Now, what I'm trying to say here, right? We can use AI for generation, for understanding both ways, right? First of all, understanding the pattern, that's the most important part. How we can actually go through the different patterns and then create data set, pre-process the data set, and then fit a particular model. And there are hundreds and thousands of models now, right? Earlier, it was like only regression, different types of regression, and then classification, clustering. Now, even with that Gen AI, the transformer-based approach and all, there are multiple things. And the neural network also has lot of different layers. We started with ANN, the artificial neural network. So when I was a researcher, like 20 years back, I used to work with ANN, and I actually wrote like 2,500 lines of code. Okay. And that program was written in C language on Linux platform. I didn't have Python. That time Python was not available actually. It was not born. And then what happened, like I used to run that program to execute that. It took me around 48 hours. So that means 2 complete days. So if I execute the neural network, the weights are being generated, multiple iterations are going on, and that time even we didn't have the word epoch. Okay, so iterations and going on, and there is simple ANN, not deep neural network, all feature engineering based approach. I actually handcrafted there are like 64 features for an optical character recognition, handwritten OCR for numerals. So 0 to 9, I have to just recognize. But after 48 hours, if I don't get a good accuracy with my confusion matrix of 10 cross 10, 0 to 9, 0 to 9, actual versus predicted, and if I'm not satisfied, if I have to change the, say, learning rate or any other features or fine tune any part, and then again, I had to wait for 48 hours. Why? Because I had like 64 MB of RAM. 64 MB, not GB, 64 MB of RAM. And one of my friends bought a computer with 128 MB. I said like, wow, 128 MB. Now we have even like, I mean, I think 64 GB RAM in laptops, even more sometimes, right? And 12 GB RAM in mobile, 16 GB RAM in mobile phone also, it's coming, right? GB. And I'm talking about 64 MB, right? So what we got now is lot of, I mean, opportunities, right? So you guys are very lucky you are right now doing research in AI. When I started AI research, that time library means actually where you can borrow books, not the Python library. And now we have so many powerful computational systems by multiple corporations. That is one. Second is availability of the data, internet, and this system like where the LLM based systems where we can actually leverage internet data, and not only internet, also the business data and all based on the business domain. We can still collect those data where we can use. And third is the resources, right? The tutorials, YouTube videos, and all these things are available, right? So even someone who is looking for, just to uh, learn a particular piece. Say I am putting here forecasting. Right? It's just a structured data. So the first column here is all structured data, optimization techniques, dimensional reduction, anomaly detection, even reinforcement learning, recommendation system. So these are all based on a tabular data. Then comes with the textual data, right? With the like sentiment analysis from text, like topic modeling, which topic a big paragraph is all about. Then say natural to structured query, where we are actually querying the database with human language. Machine translation is again very, very common and very old topic, right? I mean, when AI started, or like during even those late 50s and all, the people started putting those machine translation. Text summarization, again, we are doing it using this GPT approach and all. At the same time, again, it's a well-researched problem. Then text, like textual content and generation, that is again Gen AI kind of thing. Conversational system is again Gen AI. So when we are saying Gen AI means one is understanding, second is generation, right? So machine translation has both. If it is English to Hindi, then it is trying to understand English and then trying to generate Hindi, right? So the first part is understanding, NLU. Second part is NLG. The second part, NLG, or natural language generation, is Gen AI. So then information retrieval, knowledge graph, and all these things. Then computer vision has like a lot of applications. I mean, image enhancement started with that, like classical image processing. Then this latest, say, object localization. We have again a lot of open source libraries for that, right? YOLO and all these are all very popular nowadays. Same goes for NLP also. There's GPTs and different, say, Phi 3, Llama, and so you can always leverage these. But always try to understand like all these latest technologies what we are using. Try to understand the background as well, right? But from where it is happening, from where we are learning. It's not about only on the superficial level or only on the advanced level. Because if you're trying to bridge the gap between academia and industry, as I mentioned, right? So it has to be deep, deep in the sense from research perspective. And second is the application, right? It should not be so deep that you forgot about the application and you are doing only alpha, beta, theta, gamma, and then publish a paper like, oh, I have read that paper with alpha dash, and this was like beta dash, and it has enhanced the precision and recall by 2%. That's a great research idea, but actually is this helping the society? So think about those. Again, speaker for speech, audio, multimodal interaction, lot of different kind of. I will show one video. I'm not sure if the sound doesn't support here. I'll just share the YouTube link. It is actually I uploaded in YouTube as well. Just go through that after my presentation as well. Okay. So a multimodal, when we say, it means like it is interacting not only through voice, it is interacting through voice, through face, like what's my emotion, through language, through internet search. So it is actually having like multimodality. Then when we say multimodality, and we call it like and human machine interaction. So we put it in a robot, and because we are actually working on IoT and robotics as well, again like self-driving tractor, or it is self-flying drone, which will help in the agricultural sector. So in that way we are working in multiple organizations, multiple research organizations, where these are all aligned and we try to bridge the gap. So these are the main things. Now what are the domains, right? When we say like application, so definitely we have to think about a particular application or particular domain, right? So what we found, like, I mean, there are a couple of business domains which had like good adoption in AI. It's not about only I'm talking about from India. It's worldwide data from the popularity or interest, right? From interest perspective, because the unless and until these organizations leadership their management, and they don't want to adapt AI, then it won't actually go through, right? So because what happens, like as a young data scientist, you may be very interested, right? Say Usama is interested, or Anwar is interested, or Anish is interested. And then what will happen, if their managers are not interested, or their professors are not interested, or their directors are not interested, it won't go. So what we have captured here, like what are the organizations, I mean, what types of organizations, which domain they are mostly focused on. So healthcare, definitely huge amount of data in life sciences, pharmaceuticals. I already have given example of this cancer research. I have a couple of papers on the same, one patent and some papers also. And then this banking and financial services, right? Huge demand of AI now. Retail, e-commerce, supply chain, lot of say logistics and all these things are also coming there gradually. Then automotive transportation, manufacturing or industrial automation, where they are trying to see the progress using AI, how they can observe the safety and security of workers and all these things. Electronics, telecommunications, mostly on the churn customer or the quality checking and all, quality of say call drops, right? I mean, quality of calls, or predicting call drops, something like that. Education and learning, huge demand in AI, because starting with the smart classes. And when we say like education, right, there are types, right? One is say nursery, that is important. Then secondary, primary, sorry, that is also important. Nursery, primary, then secondary, that is important. Higher secondary, higher studies, even special education, right? Who are say differently abled, and what kind of educational platform we are providing, what kind of e-learning. And then HR is also, we are clubbing them with that, because it's again, it's through the learning, through that curve, right? Whether we are studying in school, or whether we are studying inside the organization, right? When the management, the HR, they try to polish ourselves, like so that we can grow in the company. So that's again, it's kind of education, right? It can be knowledge and learning and knowledge department. It can be HR department. It can be education department. Then comes renewable energy. So when we say renewable energy, it covers actually oil and natural gas, right? And metals and all. And sustainability is again very important, where we actually think about the carbon emission and all these things, right? I mean, how we can save water, save planet and all. So there are 17 goals defined by United Nations. And as all the nations, we should actually follow those and try to achieve leveraging this AI or machine learning algorithms and emerging technologies, where we can actually sustain, right, as a one planet. That is the uber goal for all of us. Agriculture, farming, food, beverage, yeah, primary. पहले तो खाना चाहिए. So this is very important. Along with healthcare and education, agriculture is, I think, the very important field. And then the most interesting is like the most of the organization agritech, they are all coming up with the ideas, and they want to put AI for them. Like it can be just say identifying the crop, the whether there is some crops which are infected by insects or fungus and all, or through drone camera can we identify like which area, what kind of crops should be sowed, or any suggestions to the farmers. Even there are a lot of retails, like you know um, there are ways for connecting the agri-tech manufacturers. Say they are selling tractors, they are selling seeds, or they are selling even any of these food grades products, right? So those kind of platforms, and then how AI can help there to mitigate to reduce the time, effort, cost, right? How to optimize all these things. So again, I mean, it can be computer vision, it can be IoT, it can be robotics, but yeah, a lot of things. And then legal compliances, social security, that is again very important. Customer support, business process automation, BPA, BPO, and all these things are already there, right? But the only thing is like, um, how AI can help. You may get like some robotic voice call. That's not AI, that's a recorded voice. But AI can become more sophisticated, where it may not replace the human. That is not our Uber goal, but definitely can help human, right? It can become assistant. We are already seeing that co-pilot, right? Think about a co-pilot for a customer care support system. So, and same goes for smart cities, urban development, and so on. So then the latest technologies, right? I mean, I'm not covering again from that, like what is required with regression and classification, but latest technologies like applications of GANs, because people are asking about these questions. They are not interested anymore in regression. So yeah, there are a lot of applications, right? Whether it is GANs or variational autoencoders, right? Music generation. I probably my presentation was not able to play that music because of Zoom security. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, I will share a few samples later with Usama, and you can share with the data Seekho team. All right, and then this language translation, sentiment analysis. Recently, the transformer based model. Earlier, we used to learn some other model, right? We started our journey with say Chomskyan grammar. With it's a grammatical way to learn natural language processing. Now, no one cares about grammar. It's all numbers, right? We call it like vectors, word vectors, right? And even character vectors are coming and so on, right? So all these things have changed. So the transformer-based language, the diffusion model, decision making. So and they have like huge amount of application. So when we study, right, again, going back to the topic, when we study these things in our college, in our school, in the university, as a researcher, try to think what would be the application, and don't go with the who is doing the same thing. Like don't copy from your classmate, right? I would suggest think wildly, even if it is, I mean, some kind of very complex, but always try to think, will it be helpful for the society or for your nation? That is important. Once that is identified, right? Okay, this is actually helpful for the society, and it can be applied, and then you focus on like how we can make it even profitable. I'm not saying okay, do charitable business, right? Even if you want to set up a business on that, want to become entrepreneur, or want to become a researcher, or want to join a company as a data scientist, but everywhere it is all about application, right? So think about all these, and think about how Alan Turing defined that, right? I mean, the machinery, the computing machinery and intelligence. In 1950s, he thought about like a Turing test, right? The Turing test would be like when the conversation, a written conversation, cannot be like distinguished between like, okay, whether it is being done by a human being or by machine, right? So that we call Turing machine. So we think about that like a real human and AI generated conversation or content, what would be the best thing, how we can actually address those. So that is very important. Think from that perspective, not like yet another cat versus dog classification, right? So think whether the cat versus dog classification will help the society or help any business, or someone will be interested to buy that product even with say very small amounts, right? Okay, now I have another video. Oh, let me know if you can hear and see. I'm just forwarding. Again, if the problem is there, then I will share the YouTube link. Okay, can you hear?
Yes.
This time you can hear, right? Okay, thank you. I'm just resuming. So this is before I play this video, I just wanted to show this is a multimodal system. We tried to this is not a product, okay? I mean, we don't want to sell this product, and it is also from us research along with Microsoft. And what we wanted to show here, to integrate lot of different components of AI so that we can showcase the power of AI. But the mode here, or the Uber goal, is not to build this robot and sell, okay? Because it's kind of a Lego. So whatever components we are showing here, any business model can add up some of the subsets of those modules. Okay. So say there are like 15 modules that we are showing, but one company, say tomorrow banking customer comes and say, hey Joy, I just want three of these. not rest of the things. Okay, so let's go through the video first.
Identifying a person. Hello, Auntie, how are you doing? I see a female with age 21. You don't seem to be smiling. Give me a high five.
Can you read this text for me? Can you read this text for me?
Text for you. Content says change your thoughts and you'll change your ill. Listening.
Can you detect the color of my t-shirt?
Sure. Let me take your picture. Of the t-shirt. Listening.
Can you please find some information for me?
What do you want to know about?
Microsoft.
Searching for Microsoft. At Microsoft, our mission and values are to help people and businesses throughout the world realize their full potential. Listening.
Can you detect the object in my hand?
Okay. Let me take a picture of the object. I see home. Listening.
Can you please convey my message to Donnie?
Sure. What is the message?
Food is in the fridge.
Okay, I will let Dolly know. Listening.
My softie.
Identifying the person. Hello, Dolly, how are you doing? I see a female with age 22. You don't seem to be smiling. Give me a high five. Before starting, Auntie wants you to know that food is in the fridge. Listening.
Bye, softie.
Okay. So now, first of all, I will explain what's there in this softie, right? And please ping in the message, right? What are the different AI components what you found? All the participants are allowed to ping in the message box, right? Okay, sound recognition, good. So, yeah, my question was from this demo, the last demo of Softy, I think you all of you have heard this, right? So, what are the different AI components you think are applied? Sound recognition, I got. Computer vision, okay. Okay, apart from Usama, please. Image augmentation, sentiment analysis. Very good. Sentiment analysis, Hamza. So when he was actually saying you are not smiling, right? Give me a high five. So that is true from the facial expressions. Motion sensor audio reply. Good. Motion sensor is also there from the high five. That is actually motion sensor. You are correct. Auto reply is also correct. Image augmentation, yes, we are doing even optical character recognition is used because when Aditi was holding the piece of paper, it had some printout, right? And it actually read, Softy read that entire content. And then also, so have you okay, artificial intelligence, again, it's a very, like, you're talking about it's a parent of all this, right? ANN is parent of this, but I mean, I am asking a more granular detail. So have you observed another security thing, right? Say for an example, this is Softy was recognizing Aditi and also Dolly, the lady who came later, right? And then Aditi gave a message. Yes, OCR is correct. So Aditi gave a message like food is in the fridge. And suppose in between Joy came, right? So Softy will say, "Hey, hello, Joy. How are you doing? I see a male of 46 years and all these things, and you're smiling. Give me a high five." But it will not pass on the message of of Aditi to me. Why? Because that is called data privacy. So we are actually think about how to protect this confidentiality because that message from Aditi was for Dolly, not for Joy or anyone else. Face recognition also we have done, right? So we can identify the person. So not only voice, not only through voice, that's why we're calling it multimodal. It's through both, right? Okay, explainability is good. Okay, next thing is like, I will ping this video also. I will share this link. But whoever wants to connect, please feel free to connect over LinkedIn. Okay. I am very much active. My LinkedIn link is also here in the last slide. And you can just search Joy Mustafi as well, but this is more authentic because I'm not shared with the same name if two or three people are also there on LinkedIn. So please check. I have a grayscale photo there and must research will be also visible. So feel free to connect with me if you want to learn more in AI space, especially if it is for the academic research what you want to apply, and happy to guide everyone. And okay. Yeah, thank you, Anwar, for sharing. And this particular video also, I'm just minimizing my screen now. And this particular video also I will share with the link. Okay, so it's on actually YouTube. This Softy can be also you can get through our channel. I'll share that link as well. Or or it can be recently I found like some fridge, right? And tomorrow think about like if one fridge has IoT, it's connected to like your home Wi-Fi, and you can control the temperature of the fridge from your office when you are not at home, or you can turn it off or on. These things can be done. But is it really helpful or we need more? So in the fridge, if we set a camera and think about like whenever we are opening the fridge, and so when you open the fridge, right, there are a lot of things you do, right? Either you check what's there inside, or you take something out, or you put something new there, right? Or you rearrange something and then close the door. So whenever you're doing the same thing with the fridge, with the door of the fridge, you're having these four, five different actions. And that action can be captured with a camera. Now think about like, can you automatically uh, generate a report like what's there in your fridge and how your ration is going on for a week, right? Or think about a camera or a sensor, color motion sensor in your washing machine, which is actually suggesting like, hey, you can actually have like a new uh, type of color. Say, for an example, you don't have any purple shirt. You used to wear like a lot of blue shirts, but not purple. So why don't you buy a new purple shirt? So now this suggestion can come from washing machine. Or think about an IoT which is connected with your microwave and actually checking like what kind of food you're always having this like worm and all, and what kind of calories. So these things you think, not only the smartwatch, right? So IoT is not only smartwatch or Alexa kind of device where you just play music or give some commands. No one is doing any serious things with those. I will not go for a banking transaction with Alexa or Siri or Google or anyone, right? But I will request like, can you please play music? Yeah, next question. Usman. Yeah, please.
हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर। तो सर मेरा एक्चुअली क्वेश्चन ये है कि आई जस्ट डिड माय मास्टर्स इन फाइनेंस लाइक एमफिल इन फाइनेंस यू कुड से दैट so I'm like making my ground in AI and like machine learning and stuff like that. So what do you think, what should the roadmap should I have to choose for this industry, and how I
So
integrate that into the finance, because I've seen this generative AI something into that in on MIT website, because I follow that Sloan Business School and stuff like that. So I really want to mark my want to make my mark in MIT for the PhD program, and for this they
very
required this this sort of like generative AI, machine learning and stuff like, because I'm so new in it, so that's the reason I want to have this some kind of a rough roadmap for this. Thank you.
Okay, good. So when you're saying finance, banking sector, like we already showed it, banking, financial services, and insurance. So they have like a lot of different applications in GenAI. So when you are saying GenAI, that means we are generating something. So generating a financial report, starting with that, it can be any kind of like say there are a lot of documentation happens, right? In it can be loan underwriting, it can be so there are a lot of manual process which is being typed or generated by human being. So those can be actually I mean those can be doing the research for that AI application, right? So we can apply AI for BFSI where the documents are being generated, but only documents, right? BFSI, there is no interest on image, right? No one will think about like generating image in BFSI domain, but documentation, long documentation, that is one. Second is like not only GenAI. If you think from NLP perspective, say we used to, there are like a lot of small prints, right? In your credit card application or loan application, where there is a risk from customer perspective. Bank thinks from their perspective, what is the risk for them? But for a customer, we also think what is the risk for us. And then the agent says like, hey, sir, please sign here, right? Oh, don't worry, I will take care. You just sign there, here, and there. So now, can we have an AI system which will read those forms and generate a report like this is where the risk is for you, right? For us, for customers or consumers. So those kind of things are also important because sometimes for mutual fund and all, right, we don't know what's happening and we just sign and then assign to someone and then we may get looted. So these are the applications. So I think once you meet your professor in MIT, you can actually think about like before that, what are the different AI applications in BFSI, and then study, create a study report, connect with me over LinkedIn. Definitely we can discuss even more. Next question, please. Or I'm not sure, Usama, are we done with the time, or we can have like just extend for another 2-3 minutes if there are some
Sure,
questions,
we
or we can.
can take few questions before we end. So we have next question from Sobia. She's mentioning she's passionate about robotics. I want to create a report like software. Suggest me a roadmap for that.
Suggest me a roadmap of.
Uh, sh- Robotics. The video you have shown, she
Yes.
wants to create type of robot.
Okay. She also wants to create. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, that particular robot we built it in 1 week. So don't worry on the hardware part. We used like simple Raspberry Pi, and the operating system was Windows 10. But as I mentioned, it is all Microsoft and Must Research. It's a collaboration. It was collaboration between us. So we use like a lot of Microsoft tech stack and a lot of open source technologies. We wrote the programs in Python and all. But nowadays, even if you search in internet, all these small components are available with even open source at open source level, right? Now you have to just stitch them together based on what exactly you are looking for. And if you want to build the robot, if you are focusing on the hardware part, right? Not only the system, but how the head is and all, these are all 3D printed. Okay. So we have 3D printers, and through that 3D printer, if you put the design of the robot, and you can actually print those. And then we assemble the hands, the legs, the heads, and so on. Okay. So in that way we work. So yeah, I mean, one is the mechanical part, second is the electronics part, the hardware, and then comes the software part and the AI, right? So there are four major components in the robots. And the mechanical part also, like it has like, I mean, this hinges and all, we use like some servo motor to put the hands, right, and give the high five. Yes, Hamza.
Hello, sir. Hamza here. I am in my last semester of bachelor's and in computer science. I'm in computer science field and I want to start my career in data science and as a data analyst. So, what is the roadmap and is it worth it to join it as a data analyst or not for the future as AI
Yeah.
is changing day by day?
No, see, these are all synonyms, as I mentioned, right? Even if you get some company may offer you AI engineer, some company may offer you data scientist, some company may offer you data analyst. So don't worry, don't go or judge the designation name, because the work, the moment you work, right? As I mentioned, the algorithm part will be 5%. Okay. The major things are all about understanding the data, cleaning the data, okay, preparing like preparation of proper data which would be useful for the machine learning components. So there are a lot of pre-processing and all these things are important, right? And if you avoid, no, I'm a data scientist or AI researcher, I will not do that. So no one will help you, right? So even if you are getting data analyst, data engineer, right? Something where the data, AI, ML, these words are there, right? Even say machine learning engineer, machine learning scientist, machine learning researcher, please join. Don't worry, you can always upskill. If they are giving you only say dashboarding and all, that is also learning. Learn data first. Try to understand the patterns. That is very important. Yeah. Next question, Malik.
And sir, what are the skills needed for that technical skills?
See, so three things are important again. One is like mathematics, foundation of mathematics and statistics. These are very important. Computer programming is important. You cannot avoid coding. Okay. If you want to become data engineer, data scientist, please don't avoid coding. Don't ask ChatGPT kind of system can write code for me, because those are basically the initially you will find like, oh, very helpful, but the moment you go deeper, you will find like it's not actually proper. So these two things are very important. Third is some kind of domain knowledge. I got one question like BFSI, banking and finance. Now you may be interested in healthcare, or you're interested in say traffic management, smart city. So it depends on the domain. First, mathematics and statistics. Second, your coding knowledge in Python. Right now, you prefer Python only. Don't go with C++ like me, because I started my AI journey 2 decades back, right? So you have Python, please learn Python. Third is take any of the interest of the domain, business domain. That can be agriculture, that can be healthcare, anything. Okay. So these are the three things. Please focus on. Next, please. Okay, so if we don't have any question, please feel free to reach out to LinkedIn as I mentioned earlier. And again, thanks, Data Seekho team.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, basically I have two questions. I divided it in two parts. First of all, as we know, in the modern era, there are two discussions: war of AI and war of biological war between countries. So, in biological war, can we say that impact of AI will harm other countries? And second part, how much impact of AI as they are developing, like we can say ChatGPT, ChatGPT 4, Gemini, more modernization of artificial intelligence with the passage of time. How much have it impact on jobs of software engineer, IoT engineers, and IT industries?
Job cards.
Yes.
Okay. So two things, right? One is like what we have to focus on AI for good, right? So whenever, as I started, right, with the lecture itself, like let us focus only on the societal benefits. First, focus on education, healthcare, agriculture. These are the major things where you should focus. Number one. Number two is like there shouldn't be any job cut. What we have to do, we have to upskill ourselves. Okay. The upskilling means like suppose we know coding but not AI, let's learn AI. Earlier, when there was no computer, and then when the computer got introduced, there are many people who don't know how to use a computer, how to open a computer, how to sit in front of computer. But now we know. Same ways for the this smartphone, right? When the smart from keypad phone, then the smartphone came in the mobile. Now, any common guy, right, if he or she has some decent amount of money, can buy a smartphone, and they are not going for a coaching center to learn how smartphone works. So it's all about upskilling. So tomorrow AI will rule. So we have to just upskill ourselves, learn new things, and make the world better. That should be our objective. Okay. Okay, no more question. I'll let us now let's just conclude, but I will definitely answer the questions offline. And Data Seekho team, you can please jot down the questions if still they still have, and we'll answer like in the offline. But okay.